And it's Friday, June 24, 2 p.m. Mountain Time. That means it's time for Tom and Shane Live on Facebook. And happy to be here with you and having a good time today. It's finally Friday, First Amendment Friday. Need to remind you that Tom and Shane are on the air. We are on Saturdays. That would be tomorrow by advanced calculus, 8 to 11 Mountain Time. All you have to do is go to KMMSAM.com and click on Listen Now, and you'll be tuned in to us right there and then. And let's see, also, you can listen to any of our previous shows at KMMSAM.com, KMMSAM.com. We are live over there. Well, we're recorded live, I guess, if you want to call it that. So, and if you're watching us on YouTube right now, hey, don't forget to subscribe and like us and leave a comment. We'd like to know what you want us to talk about or think about or explore or research for you. We would be very happy to do that for you. So by all means, we'll be happy to do any of that for you. Well, we don't have very many people here yet, Jay. I didn't announce exactly it. I didn't get in here. Yeah, I didn't get in here to announce it in time. So we may have to kill some time here to let a couple people come in and check us out before we actually delve into the news of the day. How was your week anyway? You went to the doc and you did all kinds of stuff. So how were you?
Good. That was a week ago. I had my echocardiogram.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
A week ago.
Yeah. So, I get one of those every once in a while. So, but I have a pretty good heart, all things considered, from what they tell me anyway.
Yeah, that's sort of relative. I mean, it is important to your remarkable piece of equipment. It's just,
Well, considering that it works 24/7. I mean, come on.
Piece of equipment,
yeah. Fortunately, the brain says, "Hey, don't forget to beat."
That's right. It keeps reminding me constantly.
Yeah, it's got to be fun over there. So, all things considered, pretty healthy. At least, lungs and heart and all that stuff. All the normal things, I guess, that can be wrong with people. So, all right.
And we're in the middle of summer, so we're heading up to another couple of long weekends, and so people are busy on Fridays and getting ready for the weekend and the expectation. And we'll see. We'll see where Congress goes because they only have another week left before they're gone.
I know. Yeah, they got to figure out this. What they got to figure out whatchamajigger, what they're going to do with.
What are they going to do? What are they going to do?
Yeah, my money's running out this week.
Yeah, it's one of those interesting aspects of the whole storyline, and with everything that you're seeing. Oh, I know we can talk about. Did you see Fauci last night at the baseball game? Oh my gosh, what a disaster!
That really surprised me because this guy was an athlete in high school and wherever else he was, and I mean, the guy played basketball. I mean, you got to have a little coordination to play basketball. Yeah, and I would think.
Yeah.
I would think before you went out there and embarrassed yourself on national television that you would probably throw a couple of test pitches to make sure that it didn't end up in, the dugout.
Yeah, that's where we went to the dugout. And did you see now? I think we mentioned this already, but something to talk about. But so now each game is going to start with a player on second base at the beginning of each inning.
Extra innings.
Nope.
Extra innings. Extra innings.
Oh, okay.
It will. Why would they start with a player on second base?
Well, that's what I've heard and read and seen. So maybe I got it wrong.
Yeah, no, it's extra innings. They start with a player on second base, so the thing doesn't go like 24 innings.
I see. Okay.
So if anybody gets a base hit, the game's over.
Uh-huh.
See,
That
yeah,
was the
but
big
no, they're
thing.
not going to start somebody on second base at every.
Did you watch the game?
No,
No, I didn't either.
yeah,
I should I meant to because I wanted to see what it looked like with a virtual crowd.
yeah. One of the giant players um, told NBC News, whatever, uh, I'm only kneeling to God, not kneeling to Black Lives Matter or anybody else. So good for him. I hope that carries over
Good
into
for
some of
him.
these other people.
Yeah, I'm glad that he said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great line in the speech your president made on the 4th of July weekend at Mount
Hmm.
Everest that, we only kneel to God. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good line.
Well, I hope it resonates around the country.
I'd like to think so.
Yeah.
You are a Judeo Christian country, and you saw the opening today of the oh, I can't think of it. I'm sorry, but
Yeah.
the big Muslim uh, temple in Istanbul,
Yeah.
and it had been a museum for like 80 years, to satisfy all parties because it
Hmm.
started out as originally as a Christian church, was built by the Christians, and then was taken over back in the 15th century and turned into a Muslim temple. So
Yeah.
that's sort of one of those issues that you see changing in the world. The
Hmm.
flood. So, have you seen the video in China and in India and everything? It's pretty devastating, the flooding that's taking place over there in Asia from their winter storm. Uh, lots of millions of people displaced,
Yeah. Yeah. I just
and
looked it up.
you don't see, no one covers it. There's nobody on the woke news, and no one talks about it. It's quite fascinating.
Yeah. I just looked it up. Yeah, Major League Baseball plans to implement a rule for 2020 in which extra inning games will feature innings starting with a runner at second base. The idea is to expedite the ending of the game, which end in a tie after 9 innings. Giving the schedule will be so tight this year, and long games will create greater problems than they normally would. So that's what they're. Yeah, it's extra inning games only. Well, they have a runner at
Mhm.
second. So.
Well, it'd be interesting to see how the ratings on it work. You know, I mean, judging from what everyone's claiming, everybody wants sports back, and
Yeah.
they have, they're waiting impatiently to see something.
Hmm.
They're tired of watching old games that were probably more entertaining than they might have thought because they were so good. Some of the old football and baseball games were pretty remarkable back in the day.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, as long as they're kneeling, I'm sitting watching something else. So,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
sports is where we go to get away from politics. You know,
that's right.
that's our
You'll go
escape.
too politics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we've lost movies. You can't go to a movie without getting some kind of social warrior experience. So,
That's right. It's pretty
yeah.
remarkable, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know about literature. I don't know even know if you can buy a book without some kind of a social message in it somewhere.
Well, that's the purpose of the book, right?
Well, well,
Is to have some. I mean, it doesn't
well,
matter whether it's fiction or not, right? Like
well,
even fiction has,
it's all
you
right.
know. The,
It's okay to have a message, but does the message always have to be that I'm guilty of something?
well, I appreciate that,
Yeah,
but I'm just when you look at things like Harry Potter, or not look at, but read books like Harry Potter,
yeah,
you know, there's a lot of messaging in there about responsibility
yeah,
and the greater good,
yeah,
and that you need to study, and you need
yeah,
you need to able to get along with other people. You have to socialize. It's so
yeah,
it's quite funny because it's so contrary to this cancel culture we find ourselves in, and it's disconcerting because it's so real. I mean, you actually see it happening.
yeah. Well, you take the four movies, the Hunger Games. Are you going to tell me President Snow's not a Republican?
Well, judging from the whiteness of he's
Well,
definitely white privileged. I
yeah,
mean, all, all, you know,
you going to
a
tell me
gleaming power
yeah,
class, and
yeah, you're
and
going to tell me the Capitol's not full of Republicans? Come on,
yeah, exactly. Very good.
come on.
Yeah. Well, that's,
Yeah.
you know, I, I think it's one of these things that you look at and you keep thinking, how close are you to a dictatorship because of what's going on? I mean, this continuous rioting in Portland, it's now getting well, it's pointless to begin with, but now it's just out now lawlessness. There is, it's like you say, let's go out and destroy stuff because we can. No one's going to stop us.
Well, yeah, that's the whole point. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And it's fascinating too because it's not it's only something in the U.S. I mean, it's not it's not happening
yeah.
anywhere else. We don't have anything like that up here, and not in Australia or New Zealand or any European country that I've seen. I mean, there's been a lot of demonstrations in countries that have been violent, like Greece, but that's has a lot more to do with just wanting their businesses open because they're not going to survive without tourism and so forth, right? It has nothing racial. There's no racial component to any of the demonstrating going on because of COVID anywhere else. It's sort of interesting to see.
Hmm. Yeah, I don't know what. Yeah, it's it's getting to the point where it's really amazing what would happen if we didn't have the COVID virus on top of all this. If there wasn't the virus going on, uh, and we just had the Black Lives Matter and the protests and Antifa and all those folks without the backdrop of the virus going on at the same time.
Well, especially in the context of social separating and wearing masks and all the
Yeah.
things that science has been telling everybody for 5 6 months you should be doing, and all these people just seem to be ignoring it. They're not in any way, shape, or form following science. That's for sure, right?
Well, the people that are trashing and burning are certainly wearing masks.
Well, but I don't. They're not social distancing.
Well, no, they're not social distancing. Well, they've got fire to kill the virus anywhere near them. So, what's
I
the
guess
problem?
that's what they're thinking. There you go. That's why they're yeah.
That's why
That's
they're
why
okay.
they're
Yeah,
all
they're
arsonists.
they got the fireworks. They've got the virus is gone. I'm not hanging around here with these people. Geez, I'm going to some nursing
You
home over
know,
here.
you and I grew up in a time when we were watching rioting in Eastern Europe, with people in Czechoslovakia and Hungary and
Oh yeah.
Romania and
Mhm.
these places that were under Stalin control or Soviet control. And I never thought in my life I would see, people throwing Molotov cocktails at federal buildings or at police. It's
Mhm.
just, it's one of these things that's becoming it's so abnormal to watch. And then the mayor goes out to be with the group in Portland, and they boo him out of there.
Yeah.
They send him, and of course he blames the U.S.
Yeah.
U.S. Marshals and so forth for tear gassing him, and and his security squad said we need to go to a safe building. So he found a safe place.
Yeah. Those government buildings come in handy, I guess, huh?
Yeah, especially the ones you're responsible for.
Well, yeah. Well, it was kind of funny that he's out there talking, and all of a sudden here comes the tear gas and everything
Yeah.
on top of him. So I don't know. We're so out of hand in these cities, and I don't understand how any mayor or any police department can sit back and uh, commiserate with these people. Like, Oh, well, yeah, yeah, I know they're burning stuff, but they've been oppressed for so long, and I mean, they'll we need to let them vent and work out their hostility, and we'll be a better city for it if we just allow them to burn the place down, and loot and rob
Well,
and
I guess
steal.
you're looking at it like they'll be a better city, when they rebuild it. But
Yeah,
if
apparently.
if there's anyone left there wanting to be involved in that,
Well, yeah.
I for one, if I had a home in downtown Seattle or Portland, I would be gone.
Yeah, I was going
I
to
would
say any way you
school.
could get out.
Yeah, with
Their bus.
children.
Yeah, yeah. As Morgan Freeman says, there's buses leaving every hour. So
Right.
get over there and get on one.
You
Get
know,
the hell out.
or get in your car and go even
Yeah,
if you can.
yeah,
You know, it's just one of those things because it's not like you can go rent a U-Haul
yeah,
and try and take your personal items because you probably get stopped and looted if you did. So
yeah.
it's
Well, but look, you got what 57, 58, 59 days in Portland. I don't know how many. It's hard to keep count of them, but um, we didn't have that many in Seattle before Seattle finally decided we're going to go in and clean it out, and they did. And they haven't come back, and we haven't heard much about Seattle at all. I'm sure they're probably having some small demonstrations there somewhere, but not much is happening that we hear about, at least on the lamestream news.
well, actually last night on the BBC they did cover
Seattle.
and Portland. They are still Seattle and Portland. They are still riding a bit in Seattle and destroying and burning businesses, but not to the extent that they were before.
Yeah.
It was the chop zone that created the whole story there, as we know, but that
Hmm.
is gone, as you said.
Yeah.
But it's just one of these
I
things.
mean, I'm just wondering why Portland isn't doing the same thing. I mean, they saw what happened in Seattle. They saw the ramifications of that and the backlash of that. You would think, I mean, they're just down the road from Seattle, sort of.
Yeah, I
I mean,
know. Yeah. Well, the interesting aspect to that too, Seattle is famous for Seattle Tacoma because Tacoma is the southern part of the city, and it's Bellevue's to the north is a suburb, and Tacoma's to the south. But that's where the international airport is,
mm-hmm,
and nothing really there. It's sort of interesting how a lot of this is centralized. Which means it's organized. If they're only really in one place and they're doing all this damage in one place, it's clearly organized, and they only have a specific intent in one place. But Lightfoot last night, in Chicago, removing statues from parks because of the demands of the mob. One
mm-hmm,
Christopher Columbus
yeah.
statue, but you think that would affect people, certainly in the context of voting. And there's a large Italian community in Chicago and in southern Illinois.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how well that goes with the diversity of your country because to me it just looks like that the tent is growing smaller and smaller and smaller. I don't see how the Democrats enlarge the tent by doing all this.
Well, they got a
It's
series
like
of
they're
tents. I
minority
mean,
group.
they got tent city. That's what they've got. They got a gay tent. They got a black tent. They've got the pronoun tent. They got the statue tent. I mean, they got all these tents, and they all just kind of rotate around through them. So,
Yeah, I guess that's
it
what it is.
depends on what tent you're in. Some tents are bigger than others, and then they shrink, and then other tents grow, and I mean, it's a mess. But I did see they protested out in front of Lightfoot's home last night. They had a protest there.
Boy, did they! And a
Yeah,
very large crowd,
yeah, yeah.
like
They had some people
several
there that weren't
thousand.
happy with her,
Mhm.
and she probably thinks, "Well, why are they
No,
unhappy with me? I mean, I'm not doing anything. I'm pretty well
well,
letting them
I think
go."
they're demonstrating her haircut.
That
I
must
don't
be
think
it.
like
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They said you
it's
need a
not black. It's not black enough. It's just
yeah, you need
it's black.
yeah, 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 yeah. You need to get some wigs like the gal in from California.
That's what I said yesterday. What? Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
or a cowboy hat like the one from Florida.
Yeah,
Wear those colored
that's
cowboy hats with the rhinestones all over them. Yeah,
yeah, those are really
that'll
special.
dress you up a little bit. You won't look so I don't know, whatever. Uh, I don't know, not to sound too racist, but she looks like she just came out of the cotton fields.
It's not it just it's one of these things that you find so difficult to understand where where the backing for this person came from. I mean, when you look back and her replacing Rob Emanuel,
Mhm.
nobody heard of her before.
No,
Like, so out of where did she come? I assume she was on the council, probably. I
yeah,
haven't looked up her resume or whatever on
mhm,
Wikipedia. I don't really care to, but I guess I should to make a comment. But
yeah.
as a state politician in one of the 10 largest cities in your country, you'd think that there'd be some, background knowledge or,
Mhm.
awareness of this person. But
Well, she
it's
got the
so many
gay
of these.
vote. You know, well, she did.
That's I'm sure she did. That's of all things, I'm sure she did.
Well, that was one of the things that was going for her. I mean, I'm black, I'm gay, and why shouldn't I be the
Oh, is
mayor of
she?
Chicago? Oh yeah. Why
Oh,
would I? Why
I
wouldn't I
didn't.
say it? Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. That
Oh,
was that was
I
one of
didn't
her.
know that. I didn't
No,
know
that was one of her campaign platforms.
Oh, well,
That's why
there you
she got the
go.
gay vote. Yeah.
Well, if it didn't take so long to make statues, I'm sure that they'd be happy to put more up on these sites where they've torn others down. But
Yeah.
it's not an easy process to come up with a bronze statue. It does take a number of years to produce something. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess they'll do something about it. But it would make a great like two-story condo.
Well, probably would. Yeah. So.
Yeah, right in the middle of a park. How crazy would that be?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. Low cost
Yeah,
housing.
that's right. Low
It
cost
would.
housing.
It would
Yeah.
be. I guess so.
Hmm.
Well, we should probably get to our top story. No stimulus agreement yet, and they're going to get out of town here before long, so they need to vote on something, even if it's wrong. Looks like they want to do the.
Yeah.
Looks like they want to do the $1,200 stimulus again, but they're not going to do the $600 for unemployment, uh,
Hmm.
or maybe anything for unemployment. I don't know. Currently, unemployment right now for the COVID virus ends in the $600 ended today, but the
That's right.
unemployment keeps going till the end of the year.
Till the end of the year. That's
Yeah, so you'll get something.
right. Well, I just think there's a lot of pushback now wanting to, get it's one, this is a better football than closing the government, right? You know
Oh
what I
yeah,
mean? Like politically, it's a better football.
yeah,
Who stops, wanting more? And because they will pass something, we can both
oh
agree
yeah,
on that.
yeah. They're gonna do something before they leave, and they've got to have something to go home and talk to their constituents about.
And the Republicans will say it's too much, and the Democrat will say it's not enough.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
it's one of those. It's worse than he said, she said, because neither
Oh,
of
it
them
is.
have anything
Yeah.
to.
Oh, no question about it. Yeah. Yeah. So, uh,
Right, I don't see anybody with us because I'm hoping people are being able to watch us.
well,
That's the kicker. I mean,
according to my little dial here, we're all green. I got like five or
yeah,
six bars going, so I don't know.
no,
So, but but yeah, the stimulus package certainly is something we've got to. Uh, I don't know. Do we? If everybody's going back to work, if they're opening all this stuff on 3, do we really need a stimulus package? Aren't people gonna be back working at their old jobs or whatever if the unemployment's cut off?
no, we don't. No, I don't think you do, and I think everything should be opened, and masks seemingly are the answer. They say so. anyone that wants to work or anyone wants to visit some place to purchase, eat, enjoy, drink,
Mhm.
whatever,
Yeah.
has to wear masks. So you would think that you would be able to start establishing the premise for guidelines certainly, and people would open. But
Yeah.
we know what the policy is. It's been put forward, and we're told that there's no policy. Not true. It's up to the states, and the federal government has set out guidelines they should follow.
Hmm.
So there's a policy. There's a national policy, but they deny, accuse, and long enough, it'll stick to a wall, and that's all you're hearing. Yeah, and
Hmm.
it's unfortunate because there there are some things that would be really important for them to deal with, which we can agree on. Liability for small business is a huge issue,
Hmm.
and the opportunity to maintain a leased property and not be held back or shut down by the landlord because it's not something that you did or were responsible for.
Yeah.
But none of these things seems they don't want to talk about any of these things
Hmm.
because they're all things about opening up.
Yeah.
And before it used to be we can't keep spending other people's money because we're going to run out of other people's money, right?
Sooner or later. Yeah.
And,
I think so.
and now it's like, how do we keep spending money when the economy isn't even operating to generate it?
Yeah.
It's an oxymoron, isn't it? Isn't that an oxymoron? I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Well, yeah, we're looking at we're surprisingly and almost unbelievably, the markets have held through this whole thing. Demonstrations,
Incredible.
COVID virus. Yeah, I mean we've been in the 26 to 28 range almost consistently through the thing, and the Nasdaq set a new record last week, and uh,
Every day.
yeah,
Yeah.
almost, and more people are changing the way they buy and purchase things through. I think people we've taken advantage of doing our grocery shopping online, and you just back up to the store, and they come out and throw it in the back of your van, and away you go.
And there you go. Yeah, it's
Yeah, and
pretty cool.
it's a done deal. So it's pretty cool.
There's no, yeah, there's no expectation of inflation anywhere.
Yeah,
I mean, oil's West Texas still at 41.
yeah,
The only thing that shows any consternation is gold. It's at 1901. Who would have
mm,
believed that? I mean, it's heading
yeah,
to 2000. It's up $15 a day.
mm-hmm,
Silver's 22, and if gold goes to 2000, silver could easily go to 35 or $40. I mean, wow, that's
mm-hmm, yeah.
incredible.
Well,
But
but as we've said many times, gold and silver is not the best investment around. You ought to,
well,
if
it
you
only
want.
has an intrinsic value, yes.
Yeah, well, it doesn't have the ability to. It's not like a business that can set up another profit center, to add to its profit. It's only based on what someone else is willing
Yeah,
to
its
pay for it.
intrinsic value is
Yeah,
limited. Yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
And as we've mentioned, maybe 3% in your portfolio is about the max. Just to kind of
Oh,
keep
yeah.
up with
But
inflation. That's about all it ever does.
I, to a certain degree, I mean, I wouldn't have it in any portfolio. I really wouldn't because I don't see the leverage. But
Well, I mean, not in your, not in
my
your.
position's always been
Yeah,
silver and coins. So
yeah. No,
that's still the
I
same.
agree with that wholly. I think it's a better investment. More people can get into it because it's lower cost. Um, you know, and I maybe putting in a portfolio is a wrong terminology. I would say just don't invest more than 3% of your investable income or your investable risk
Mhm.
in gold or silver or whatever.
Mhm. Yeah, I think that we didn't really get into it much yesterday with Money Mike, but I think the normal portfolio split. He was started off at the beginning. I think he said 60/40 has been the normal, has now changed drastically. And
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
think he's right. I think with ETFs in particular, there's a lot of mining ETFs that
Yeah.
probably right now are looking pretty good because of the market. And
Mhm.
I think the other thing too is people are looking at what we talked about briefly yesterday, which was the FANG stocks, and to a large degree that they're all way over. They're all way overvalued. And so what are you going to do? I mean,
Mhm.
it's remarkable. Facebook is trading at 34 times. It's PE ratio is 34. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just amazing.
Yeah. 15 is maybe
So
normal or average. So
yeah,
yeah.
15
So
to
it's
18
it's
is normal.
definitely up there.
Exactly.
Even with all the problems they've
But
had, but it's the main game in town. I mean,
well,
regardless
when
of.
things happen,
Yeah.
that's why we watch them,
Mhm.
because if the market shifts, people always sell the winners first. I don't know why, but it's just a
Yeah.
bad habit, I guess. But historically, that's what people have always done.
Well, it's a profit taking.
So that's really,
They're just
yeah,
taking
that's
the
what I'm
profit
saying. Yeah,
out.
they sell the winners first. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
So.
if you're going to sell a stock at a loss, your first loss is your best loss.
Mm-hmm.
That's the golden rule. If I don't sell it today and it's good lower tomorrow, it's a bigger loss. So
Mm-hmm.
take your first loss, be gone.
Yeah. So. Well, I don't know. It's. I'm grateful that the market's where it is. Thankfully. But.
Well, I think relative to everything you were dealing with, yeah, I think ultimately one of the results of a weakened market would be inflation.
Mm-hmm.
I really do
Oh, there's no
believe that.
question.
And
Yeah, no question. There would be.
yeah, so
Yeah.
yeah, and
Well, and the other
I
thing that
think of
kind
all
of
the things that,
I was
I'm
going to say
sorry.
the other thing that kind of helps us is Europe. Although they are coming back somewhat, but they made us the safest place to go with money. So that's rather than
That's
investing
true.
in their own backyard.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and of course, politicians, the fear of inflation for politicians is that they don't care about interest rates, or they don't care about the gasoline, but they do care about food,
Mm-hmm.
because food is pretty clearly, it's one of those comfort things, right?
Oh yeah,
You need it to survive.
sure.
But
Yeah.
more importantly, you don't want people going hungry, because what they will do if they are, particularly for their children. And like you said to Mike yesterday, would you break in my house? Would you take my bread, or would you take my gold?
Yeah, yeah. If you're
And
hungry, which
yeah,
would you
like
take?
all
Yeah.
the other people. Yeah,
'Cause I could, maybe if I got that bread, I could trade it for some soup. I don't know.
yeah, yeah. Well,
Pretty soon I'm up
that's what
to
they're doing right
steaks.
now. In Venezuela right now, people are going into the jungle and picking fruit, like bananas and so forth, to trade for toilet paper.
Yeah.
And
Mhm.
you think we're joking when we say, you know, better look around at what exists out there to show you what it will be like
Right. Yeah.
to make a choice.
Well, I
It's
think
not like
that's
you don't
yeah,
have, you know,
yeah, yeah, yeah. If the COVID virus taught us anything, it taught us is what is really valuable to people, and TP is certainly one of those things that you don't want to be without.
well, and the other thing that COVID taught us too, which people have always taken for granted, I think, is immediacy, meaning how quickly it's spread around the world.
Mm-hmm.
So if there is a turn economically, people haven't been around it. I mean, you think about it. I mean, 2008 is 12 years ago. That's almost a generation.
Yeah.
In 2008, 2009,
Mm-hmm.
and certainly the dot-com crash at 98, 99. That's over 20 years ago. That's over a generation ago. You don't have to go back that far to have seen major corrections or downturns in the market and to see the results. I mean, the results are pretty horrific when that happens. So
Yeah, I was going to say my
you add
life.
inflation to that, you add inflation to that, and not good.
Yeah. Just in my lifetime, I think there's been something like 13 or 14, recessions. I mean, we seem to have one
Oh, absolutely, yeah,
every 10 or
yeah.
15 years. We seem to have one. And, as the market corrects and as the economy corrects and everything and whatever's going on at the time, um, you
Well,
know,
that was the great, that was the great Nixonian theory back in 68 to 72. We can manage this so that we don't create depressions. We can manage it, and we'll call it a recession, and the government will step in, and we'll use debt.
mhm,
So
yep,
off the gold standard, and now, wow, now we have a blank check,
mhm,
and as a federal government, we can direct money in certain directions, meaning certain industries or places where the economy might look like it's faltering, and to some degree that's worked.
yeah,
To a large degree, it hasn't, because your GDP slows down so drastically during these recessions that it takes. Even during Obama's attempt, he never really got back to a growth of the GDP. And everyone talks about, like Jim did, yes, about unemployment and all these other numbers. Yeah, there wasn't much inflation. Interest rates were held relatively low. Production didn't grow. The American people are very, they have they're known for being very hardworking people. But if you don't have a growth in GDP, it- the overall effect is not very good, because it does result in people falling through the cracks, literally.
Well, I think so. Yeah, that's the story anyway that we normally hear from time to time. I guess
That's right.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you froze. So now you don't know if anyone can hear us,
Uh,
and I don't. Oh, you joined the broadcast. You're back. Okay, good.
oh yeah, yeah. I rejoined. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
Let's see. Israel showing promise.
Yeah,
They've got a drug
new
over there that's
therapeutic.
doing something. Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's another therapeutic, and it's quite
Mhm.
fascinating. Only in having followed the storyline, the doctor from Israel that was talking about it is called Delanton, and it was originally developed in 1936 or 1936 as an anti-seizure medication. And of course, this was a run up to, the whole thing that made that transition in the 60s, where you had people that had difficult mental difficulties and stuff, and they
Mhm.
were in homes. They said, well, we can manage these people by medication, so let them all out. And ultimately, this was first made in 1908 by German chemists, and very inexpensive, about 15 cents a dose. They're, of course, the petri dish stage, but they're saying the reaction that the virus has to it is quite specific. The T cell immunity seems to grow with it in your body. T cells are basically what your body does to enhance your immune system and to fight against disease. And
Mhm.
these actually strengthens these T, T, TC cells. And
Easy
so
for you to say.
yeah, I know. So anyway, the bottom line is it may be another therapeutic that may work. And of course, at 15 cents a dose, $30 a month, it
Mhm.
would be inexpensive for people to take. As a prophylactic. I love how they use that word, right? It's a prophylactic. So yeah, that's big news. There you go.
All right. Sounds good to me. Well, I'm not sure what's going on over here. We've got comments over on Facebook, but we don't have them here, Shane.
Oh, you do
So
have. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Someone is.
Jim says working on moving and getting my ass out of Denver, selling my house. That's my weekend plan. So Linda says, hi, Jim, Bruce, James, Sandy, Tom. And Tom says, anyone have plans for the weekend? And maybe later, my lawn is a lot nice and green. So we're glad everybody maybe is hearing us somewhere. So I'm not sure what's
No,
going
that's
on.
good.
Well, nothing's been running right all week, either at the radio station or here. So we hope we're
But
getting
we'll
through
carry
somewhere.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If you
we'll
can hear
carry
us,
on.
if you can hear us, say so. We don't know if we're on or not. So I don't know. I just put my phone on a hotspot just in case the internet's down, but I don't know. You can't tell if you're on or you're off on this stupid thing, Shane. So
No, you can't.
yeah.
And
So
that's technology.
yeah,
It's
that's
still remarkable if we can do
yeah,
it. I mean,
yeah.
it is incredible.
Yeah, we can hear each other, but if we're going out to the world, who knows? I don't know.
Yeah, especially if they're busy walking their dogs.
Well, that's true. Yeah, well, it is Friday afternoon. It's nice out. People are probably out not listening to us and running around doing whatever they want to do. I guess to whatever. So. The other news, I guess, Trump finally caved on canceling the convention with the uptick in virus, particularly in Florida. Florida and Arizona seem to be hot spots right now. California just passed New York. So a lot of the southern states where we thought the sunlight and the heat and everything else would slow the virus down, that doesn't seem to be the case.
Well, I don't see him caving.
Well,
I
not
see
caving,
your
maybe, but just
he's
realistically. Yeah.
he's a very pragmatic individual, and he's a realist. And I'm sure he made this decision like he did in January about stopping flights from China, right? And
Mhm.
and stopping flights from Europe
Yeah.
because that's what he sees he has to do. He's the guy that sits there and he's responsible. He has got to make a decision. No decision is indecision, and that
Yeah.
just doesn't fit
That's true.
that guy. I mean, he's not.
Well, and in light of the Tulsa debacle, that would be the other.
Awful.
Well, no one showed up, and I mean, it was for
Well,
whatever
people
reason,
showed up.
whether it was the virus.
It was a nice rally. There were 9,000 people there. It
Yeah,
wasn't what they expected. There wasn't a couple 100,000 people,
yeah,
and they got catfished. That's the big game on the internet. Particularly on dating sites. You get catfished, right? And basically, what you saw happen was a bunch of people went and signed up with no intention of going. That's all, and they just, Pascal looked at the numbers and believed them, and unfortunately, they weren't that significant. But we'll see how that ends up at the end, because ultimately, it's just going to come down to one thing, and that's the debates. That's it. But
yeah,
Biden's never.
yeah. The
Biden's
debate,
going to
yeah,
be like Hillary.
mhm,
Hillary never showed up in 2016. I mean, it was incredible. If I think back, if you remember, when she first announced in 2015, and they had vans running around chasing her van, and they weren't even sure it was a van that she was in, and
I
it
know.
was
Yeah, there.
it was,
Yeah,
it was and then it became that big thing. I think it was in August in New York City where she
mhm.
passed out or whatever, and they had to
Oh yeah,
carry her back into
mhm.
the SUV and take her to her daughter's condo, and
Yeah,
because they want to take her to the hospital. And anyway, the point is these people are dogs pretty good by journalism, but if you just sit in your basement, I'll bet there aren't even any news trucks outside of Biden's house.
yeah,
I'm sure there aren't. I mean, like, why are we standing out here? It's like
yeah.
he's never coming out, right?
That's it. Yeah,
So yeah, it's gonna come down to the three debates, and
yeah.
I would not at all be surprised, literally, that Biden doesn't show up physically. I would not be surprised that he doesn't show up on a TV screen, and then
Hmm.
they'll be trying to figure out how big of a TV screen should we let him have,
Yeah.
next to or behind Trump, right? But
Well,
we'll see.
yeah, for the conventions, they'll both be telepromptered, I'm sure. So that's going to be pretty meaningless. Whoever Biden picks for vice president, whatever they have to say will probably be the only news that goes out of either convention. Because you know what
Yeah,
Vance is going to
yes,
say, you know what Trump's going to say.
I could actually see Trump. I could actually see Trump having a rally somewhere.
No, I doubt it.
I really do. No, okay.
Yeah,
Fine. I'm
go
telling
ahead.
you what I think.
Yeah,
I think that I could see. I think I could see Trump doing a rally to accept the nomination, and obviously they'd pick some state or someplace safe that like even going back to South Dakota and Mount Rushmore. That was an incredible setting. Like, what a great place to go back to and accept the nomination for president of the United States. I think that'd be terrific.
yeah,
But there's no question that an acceptance speech is going to be important too, as important as the debates. So seeing Biden, give a 30, 45-minute teleprompter speech, whatever you want to call it, in some setting, you would think there would be several hundred people in the room, or certainly some people, maybe not.
yeah.
I don't think Trump wants to make a presidential speech of acceptance from the Oval Office. I think that would be a mistake. So I think there are several things that they'll look at and come up with to try and get a response, that like he did with the speech that he gave, when he was in Oklahoma, because it was staggering. It was what 20 million people watched it on the internet.
Yeah. Well, that was the saving grace of it, I guess. But you really want the president of the United States to go back to South Dakota and accept the nomination in front of slave owners?
Yeah, sure. Why wouldn't I?
Because they were slave owners. Like 13 of the presidents were.
No, Lincoln wasn't a slave owner.
I know. I
Teddy
didn't
Roosevelt
say all of them were. I just said in front of slave owners.
You said
I
they were all
didn't say
slave
all
owners.
of them.
You did. You said they were all slave owners. They're not all
No, I
slave
didn't.
owners. Jefferson was.
I said, do you want the president of the United States to go back to Mount Rushmore and accept the nomination in front of slave owners? And two of them were.
They're not all slave owners. Well, two of them were,
Yeah.
Washington and Jefferson.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay.
Yeah. I didn't say all of them were.
So did you know that Washington didn't sign the Declaration of Independence?
Well, yeah, he's not on it. Yeah. There's 56 signers.
Yeah.
He's not one of them.
Wasn't one of them, no.
Yeah. Was he supposed to be?
Yeah. No. He was in the Virginia chamber at the time. He wasn't a member to that convention.
Wasn't it kind of a voluntary thing anyway?
No, it was a convention that they'd called.
No, I meant wasn't kind of a voluntary thing to sign the Declaration?
Yeah, I think yes, it was a voluntary thing. Yes.
Yeah. So you
and they all
sign it or not sign it.
That's
John
right.
Hancock wanted to sign it large enough that the king could read it without glasses.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's why his name is more prominent, and that's why you say put your John Hancock here or whatever. You sign something.
Let me see your
Yeah.
Let me see your John Hancock.
Yeah.
And you look at them and you go, my signature?
Now
All right. Well, we're winding down, and it's probably
10
a good
minutes
thing.
ago, you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But we've pretty much covered all of anything that's anyone's talking about. I guess we could talk about things that they don't want to talk about. But
Well, yeah, we could do that.
it's fascinating.
Well,
It's fascinating. The news cycle can be so busy and yet so slow, and another oxymoron.
Yeah. Well, one thing we should talk about is San Francisco Giants pitcher Sam Coonrod, I guess, second-year player, was the only player to stand during a moment honoring the Black Lives Matter movement. Why would they even honor this movement? Why would they even give it any credence at all. So anyway, ahead of the season opener with the Los Angeles Dodgers, telling reporters after the game that as a Christian, he can't kneel before anything besides God. And there
That's
he is.
pretty
All
cool.
the others
They
are,
did they
you know,
did it baseball played this black national anthem?
I don't know if they played the Black National Anthem or not, but but anyway, in this particular article, it says
Oh,
he was the only player to stand during a moment honoring Black Lives Matter.
okay.
So everybody else is on their knees, like sheep. And I don't know. That just, I don't know.
Well, here's one I'll throw at you. I really believe that this whole issue with Black Lives Matter, not the whole issue, but the larger issue to it, is that they are now the second largest minority in the U.S. and they know they're overrepresented everywhere. They're overrepresented in politics. They're
Mm,
overrepresented in entertainment, news, academia, everywhere. And they're trying to maintain that. Well, why are they overrepresented? Well, because the Mexican American is the largest minority in your country.
yeah.
And so I think that one of the things that will come to light, particularly with this election, is when Trump wins, you'll find that unfortunately they had their opportunity, and if they wanted to, if they were really wanting to fulfill that need of not being overrepresented, the only way they could do it is to have more of the African Americans vote for Trump than the Mexican American, and that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I think that Trump will get 35 or more of the Mexican American vote. So the ultimate reality to all this is going to come to when is it going to be acceptable to all these companies that are supposedly backing Black Lives Matter? I say this because everything that you're seeing in Portland and certainly saw in the last 3 months were all these companies being devastated that are cuddling up to them out of fear, and I don't see why they're not a large enough consumer group to coddle
Yeah.
to. Really, I think
Only
it's
in
wrong.
shoes. Only in shoes is the only that's
You
the
know,
only
I
yeah.
was going to comment, and I thought, no, maybe I shouldn't say that. But you go right ahead, Eggleland. That's great.
Well, it's obvious. I mean, it's known, it's known record. But anyway, several players during the Nationals Yankees game wore T-shirts saying "Black Lives Matter" during batting practice. All the letters BLM were stenciled into the back of the mound at the center of the diamond. I'm sorry. There's no reasonable excuse for coddling to these people. There's just
Well,
yeah.
there's probably more people in the sport that than watching.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not convinced that the African American people probably watch that much sports. I think they're probably outside playing baseball or outside playing basketball or even football.
Yeah.
But I'm not certain that this is a and I'm talking strictly from a marketing standpoint.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, I think that of course the brand is destroyed and it's coming apart. We've seen the golden age of all these sports. Sorry,
Yep.
I
Too
just
bad.
see that.
They're done and over and gone. Yeah.
That's right. Their ratings are dropping, so salaries will drop, and everything about what they're going to be paid will drop, and it'll fall off, and it'll be a sad thing to see, but that's going to be result. And it's sad too because overall it's just such a giant part of your GDP.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's 4 or 5% of your GDP at least.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how many years I bought the baseball package on Roku, but I'm dumping that, and I even get a
Uh,
military discount for it. So
what's a baseball package? Oh, on TV.
yeah, I can watch any of the
Oh,
games I want to watch. So
right.
yeah,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
I'm done with them. So
Well,
that's
and that's another example of exactly of how this
yeah.
is going to have ultimately an impact. Again, 2024, not far away. Last year of Trump's second term, I can see the whole thing filling out with Wi-Fi now having a big effect on in North America and globally, and none of these networks surviving. Number one, and none of these sports surviving because people aren't going to. The only way they're going to get them to stream is to pick up their channel on our cable service. NFL is 150. I don't know what yours is. You probably have one, but you have a golf channel, right?
Mm-hmm.
That you can go to watch golf and stuff. But
I put it on when I want to go to sleep. When I want to take a nap, I put on the golf channel. Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Well,
Because they talk very softly. He's addressing the ball, and it's a downhill slope to the left. And
there's no large white crowds following a black man around.
That's true. Yeah.
That changed a lot of it, right? And that's gone.
When you figure the best golfer in the United States is black and the best rapper's white, something's wrong somewhere.
Somewhere. That's true.
I don't know how that works.
It's my dad would say that's back-ass word.
Yeah.
That's another oxymoron.
That would be it. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Linda says the Cardinals have BLM on the pitcher's mound. I do not agree with this. Keep politics out of sports. We all have our own opinions, but sports are entertainment. I will refuse to support yet another one. Yeah. Tom says, any recommendations for good TV shows? Yellowstone. Yeah, Yellowstone's a pretty good show. I watched that with.
I'll tell you one thing. The highest rated baseball game this year will be August 14th. When is
Trump
it? The New York Yankees. Yep, when the Yankees in Boston or Yankees in clubs, whichever, whatever. But it's the game.
They're playing everybody close together, so it'll be Boston and New York. Yeah.
Okay, so Trump's going to throw the ball out, and I expect him to go out there in a suit because no, you know what? I don't think so. I think you'll see him go out in khakis, like with a golf shirt on and a jacket. Probably. That's what I would expect, and he'll have a baseball hat on, and probably the Yankees.
The red hat with.
No, I think it'll be a Yankees hat because he's he's
from New York.
And I think he'll surprise the hell out of everybody and throw that thing right across the plate. I really do. But I
wouldn't be a surprise to me. He was an athlete.
But it'll have the highest rating. It'll have huge ratings. I mean, millions will watch it. Millions of people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna watch it. I couldn't care less about Fauci. I saw him on the news this morning.
Yeah, I'll watch the replay of him throwing it. I'm not watching the game.
Yeah, but I saw the replay.
Yeah. So
people want to see. They want to actually see. And then the funny thing will be is, do they offer it to Biden?
Yeah,
to throw a pitch out. Now that, he couldn't even get it off the mound.
Yeah,
I'm not even sure he could hold it.
Well, I was really surprised because Fauci was an athlete, and I'm really surprised that he can't throw a baseball. He's not that old, but I mean, Trump's older than he is, and I think Trump will do exactly what you said.
Yeah,
he'd be bouncing in there, but it'll be straight toward the plate,
But wait, but the thing about it is that what nobody had was the crowd. I mean, the crowd is what puts really the strain on you probably. But if you're a politician and a bunch of people are booing and people are cheering, you're thinking about that. You can't ignore that noise in the background. But I still say it'll be a whopper. It'll be the highest rated part of baseball this year.
All right. Well, we'll check and see. Tom says Biden can wear his mom jeans like Obama did. And Jim says, involving all sports, I have an old scene from a movie. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. That's the way I feel, man. If you're going to be out there and be political, I got enough politics in my life being on here every day and being on the radio on Saturday. I need an escape once in a while. So, I don't know. You can't even watch cartoons anymore because they're racist and whatever. I know. Come on. So I don't know. I have to write my own stories, I think, and read them. I don't know.
And fascinating along those lines is cartoons in the newspapers, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Everything's social justice. We all have to feel. We've got to feel guilty about our stupid white privilege. We've got to feel guilty about tomorrow on radio. I will tell you about a stenographer who works for a corporation Zoom meetings. And tomorrow on the radio, I will tell you, you will not believe it, what I'm going to tell you tomorrow. KMMSAM.com. Yeah.
I believe everything you say, Thomas.
I know you do. Yeah, but this is so incredibly ridiculous. I can't even. I don't know. I would tell you now, but we need something.
No, save it.
We need something good for tomorrow. So yeah, I'm going to tease that. So we will be on the air. Of course, you can hear us anywhere you happen to be. KMMSAM.com. Just click listen now. 8 o'clock to 11 Mountain Time. That would be 9 to noon Central, and some other time Eastern, and some other time Pacific. So too complicated for me to figure out. Yeah.
7 o'clock.
7 to 10. 7 to 10 Pacific time if you're out in that neck of the woods. I don't know. Do you think anybody from California listens to us? I doubt it.
Yeah, we have people call in from California. What are you talking about?
Well, we do, from time to time. But,
well, clearly
that doesn't prove they're listening just because they call us.
Oh,
a guy from California just calls us to talk about what a low-life scumbag Trump is.
Yeah, that's true.
Doesn't matter what we're talking about. He's just going to call and bash Trump. So,
yeah, demean his president. Yeah, and feel good about it.
I know. Yeah, that's the scary part.
Well, he's a happy bigot. That's a good thing.
Well, yeah. All right. Well, we managed
to be an angry bigot. Look what angry bigots do to your cities. Give me a break.
Oh, well, amen to that. Yeesh. Oh, let's see. All right. Well, we managed to make an hour out of nothing, Shane. So not much.
We didn't have a choice.
I was going to say there's just not much happening today. It just isn't.
That's one of those things.
One of those days,
Well, there's lots happening. Yeah, there's lots happening, but it's sort of important our audience knows that we're trying to deal with this in a manner that's interesting, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, if we wanted to talk about the top story, we'd talk about virus for an hour, but everybody's tired of hearing about that. I mean, we gotta, it's still out there. Yeah, there's big numbers here and there, and yada yada.
Oh yeah, and Fauci, by the way, Fauci admitted yesterday that this is with us forever.
Oh yeah,
really? Have we not been saying
you think
that?
So?
It's a virus. It's not going away.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere, So our best hope is it mutates and weakens itself and, just becomes cold or something or whatever.
And herd immunity overwhelms it. Exactly.
Yeah, something like that. So I don't know. It'll be I don't know. So anyway, virus numbers are up. What a surprise. You heard it here first.
Exactly. That's right. And you heard about a therapeutic that maybe weaken it to a regular cold, so which would be great.
That would be great. Cents. Yeah. Well, H1N1 isn't as serious as it once was. So, AIDS isn't as serious as it once was. We were able to control that. So I'm confident.
Yeah. More children under 8 died this year from the H1N1 flu than COVID-19.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, and we've got a vaccine for that. So,
and away we go.
There we are. All right. Say goodbye, Shane.
I will indeed, good sir. Everyone be happy, be safe, live in the moment, live to work. And as always, joy and happiness, and God bless the American and Canadian people. And thank goodness we live in the two greatest country clubs in the world.
Yes, we do. All right. Hey, don't forget we're on
Yes, we are.
live tomorrow, 8 to 11 Mountain Time, KMMSAM.com. Listen to us tomorrow. Whether or not we'll record the show or not, I don't know. We've been having some problems in house at the station with the new system we put in. So I don't know if we'll be able to record tomorrow's show or not, but we're going to do our best to try to figure a way to do it. And so, hey, all views are welcome here, as you all know. And hey, chances are, if you think it there's a good chance we'll say it here. So we'll see everybody tomorrow, 8 to 11 Mountain Time, KMMSAM.com. Bye for now.